All right, let's see if Blake. Okay, Blake, you're coming up. What's up, Blake?
Hey,
Oh, you are a Muslim. I thought, why is your name Blake?
this is a fake name. I use the
Okay,
same
that's
name
fine.
on
That's fine. Go
TikTok.
ahead. I just had to make sure you're kosher. Okay, now you're okay if I show you. No one can see your face, but only the name Blake. You're okay with that, right? Like this, you see, Blake
Yes,
Nassa.
it's okay.
Okay, go ahead. What's up?
Yeah, hi. Happy New Year. And
Happy Easter, Merry New Year, Merry Happy Christmas. No, just go ahead. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead. Talk to me. I'm playing with you. Go ahead. Blake, what's the story?
Okay, I'll try to be as brief as possible, but like I've been kind of collecting the questions I wanted to ask you before, like because like I wanted to be prepared.
Okay.
I've been like
Blake, by the way,
reading.
before you ask, Blake, before you ask, look at the private chat. You see that right there? You see Benny_Malik3?
Yes.
Okay. If you contact me on Skype, I can go live with you one-on-one, and I'll answer all your questions. But they say you're debating God logic. That's fine. So if you ever want to just me and you and answer all your questions, contact me on Skype, okay? But ask your question. Go ahead.
Okay. I will add you on Skype.
A little lighter.
So yeah. So I've been watching a lot of lives and like where Muslims like and Christians are debating, and they keep bringing up verses from the Old Testament, and some of them are kind of similar to Islam. And what?
I said, interesting. So they're similar to Islam. Okay.
Yeah, and some of them, which I'm gonna ask you about, Islam seems more moral than those verses.
If it sounds more moral than those verses, then Muhammad is in hell because he confirmed the Old Testament. I know what you're going to talk about. Numbers 31, 15 to 18. Is that one of them?
Yes.
Oh, gee, I'm shocked. Numbers 31, 15, 18. The other one is 1 Samuel 15, 3, right?
Yes.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. I've never heard those verses before.
Okay.
Wow. 1 Samuel 15, 3. Slaughter all the Amalekites, everything that breathes. Or Numbers 31, 15, 18. Slaughter the women and the boys, but spare the virgins. Gee, I've never heard that.
Yeah,
okay,
maybe you've heard them a lot, but
I've answered them 5 million
I'm
times.
in my early 20s, so I literally just started like learning about religion and so on. So yeah.
I know I've answered a million times, but sister, before I answer that question, you understand if you're still a Muslimah to attack these passages? I'm just saying, if you're an atheist, agnostic, I'd answer you a different way. I will answer you, but I just want to show you, if you are a Muslimah, and if these passages are immoral, inhumane, you have to renounce Muhammad and stop following Islam and become an agnostic. I'll answer them, but why am I saying that? As I did in the debate with Daniel Hakikachu and Ijaz Ahmed, the Quran says that these verses, Numbers 31, 15, 18, Deuteronomy 20, verses 1 to 20, which is even alluded to by Muhammad in Sahih Bukhari, and it's mentioned, alluded to in chapter 5 of the Quran, verses 20 to 26, that Allah ordered Musa to do this. That's in your Quran. So I'm trying to figure out, do you agree with your Quran that what Musa did, Numbers 31, was from Allah or no?
Can you show me?
Oh, yeah, very, very easy. I'll be more than happy. Right here. Let me show it to you. Hold on. Okay.
Because
Here you go. Right here. I'll show it to you.
I do speak Arabic and I do read the Quran in
Arabic. Oh, alhamdulillah, I'm proud of you. Okay. Here it is. Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse 20, 26. Okay, ready? First evidence. You ready? Okay. Can you see it on the screen? You want to read it or you want me to read it in English?
You can read it.
Okay. Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, 20 to 26. O my people, remember Allah's favor unto you, how he placed among you prophets, and he made you kings, and gave you that which he gave not to any of his creatures. O my people, go into the Holy Land, which Allah hath ordained for you. Turn not in flight, for surely ye turn back as losers. They said, O Moses, lo, a giant people dwell therein. That's the Canaanites, the Amorites. We go not in till they go forth from thence. When they go forth from thence, then we will enter. Not till then. Let them leave, we'll enter. Then out spake two of those who feared their Lord, men unto whom Allah had been gracious. Now, if you don't know the Old Testament, you don't know what this is talking about. This is Numbers chapter 13 and 14. And the two men are Caleb and Joshua. Enter into upon them by the gate, for if ye enter by it, lo, you will be victorious. So put your trust in Allah if you are indeed believers. They said, O Moses, we will never enter the land while they're in it. So go thou, you go, and thy Lord, you go fight them. We will sit here. He said, my Lord, I have control of none but myself and my brother. So distinguish between us and the wrongdoing folk. Their Lord said, for this the land will surely be forbidden them for 40 years, that they'll wander in the earth bewildered. So grieve not over the wrongdoing folk. This is referring to Numbers chapter 13 and 14, where the 12 spies went to Canaan and saw giants. They came back and told the Israelites, Bani Israel, there are giants there. They got afraid, said, we're not going to fight. We're not going to enter and wipe them out. Joshua and Caleb said, don't be afraid, go. They said, no. I goes, all right, then you're going to now stay in the desert for 40 years. So my first question to you is, the Quran says, Allah ordered Moses to enter Canaan and wipe out everything that breathes. Was Allah right?
I still don't see the specific part where Allah said.
Specific, I'm going to send you God logic. It's telling you that Allah told Moses, enter the land. What land? Canaan. To do what with it? Play patty cake? It's quoting the Old Testament. And it's saying what God told Moses to do is from Allah, your God.
But in the Quran, it doesn't say you should analyze.
Stop arguing from silence. The Quran never corrects the command given in the Old Testament. It accepts it as it is. Stop playing games with the text, because now you're twisting the words with your tongue.
No. I know that. I know that you're 100% right. So if the Quran isn't speaking something entirely against the previous scripture, then we do take it.
Anything about prohibiting anyone from being killed. You're adding to it because you don't like it, but I don't really care what you like. I'm telling you the Quran confirms the Old Testament, whether you like it or not. It's right here. Now, since you're Sunni,
yes, 100%.
Okay, now this is going to be even worse for you, Sahih Bukhari. Because now Sahih Bukhari is going to quote Deuteronomy 21 to 10 and Joshua 7 and 10, where God ordered Joshua, Yusha, to enter and slaughter all the Canaanites. And it says it's from your God, Allah. Sahih Bukhari, volume 4, number 353. So now tell me, well, I don't see it here either. Then I know you're wasting my time here. Narrated Abu Huraira, the Prophet said, a prophet among, see now what's interesting about your Quran and the Hadith, your Prophet don't even know the names of these people. For example, here, if you didn't know the Old Testament, if you don't know the Bible, you don't know who the two were, the two men that feared Allah. Then out spake two of those who feared the Lord. So if I ask you, who are those two men that said, no, Allah will be with us to fight the giants? Do you know who they are?
Yeah, you just mentioned their
But in
names.
the Quran, do you know who they are?
No.
So your Quran needs my Bible, and yet you're attacking my Bible, which explains your Quran.
I'm not attacking. I'm just asking questions.
I know. I'm saying you generally. Take it stuck for Allah. I'm saying generally. Don't take it personally, sister. Generally. And then here, it tells you a prophet amongst the prophets. It doesn't even tell you what prophet. It was Joshua, Yusha. Okay, now watch. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the prophet said, a prophet amongst the prophets carried out a holy military expedition. So he said to his followers, anyone who has married a woman and wants to consummate the marriage and has not done so yet should not accompany me. This is Deuteronomy 20, verses 1 to 20, by the way, and I'll show it to you. Here your Quran, your Hadith, I should say, Sahih, is quoting Deuteronomy 20. The command of God that when they enter Canaan, wipe it out, or when nations fight them, you can then attack them. Anyone who has married a woman and wants to consummate the marriage and has not done so yet should not accompany me. Nor should a man who has built a house but has not completed its roof, nor a man who has sheep or she-camels and is waiting for the birth of their young ones. So the prophet carried out the expedition, When he reached that town at the time, or nearly at the time of the Asr prayer, he said to the son, "O son, you are under Allah's order, and I'm under Allah's order. O Allah, stop it, the sun from setting." This is Joshua chapter 10. The book of Joshua, which chronicles Joshua entering Canaan to wipe out everything that breathes. And I'm going to show it to you. It was stopped till Allah made him victorious. Then he collected the booty, and the fire came to burn it, but it did not burn it. He said to his men, "Some of you have stolen something from the booty. So one man from every tribe should give me a pledge of allegiance by shaking hands with me." Now this is referring to Joshua 7. They did so, and the hand of a man got stuck over the hand of their prophet. Then that prophet said to the man, "The theft has been committed by your people. So all the persons of your tribe should give me the pledge of allegiance by shaking hands with me." The hands of 2 or 3 men got stuck over the hand of their prophet. Again, doesn't tell you who it is. It's Joshua. And he said, "You have committed the theft." Then they brought a head of gold like the head of a cow and put it there. The fire came and consumed the booty. The prophet added, "Then Allah saw our weakness and disability, so he made booty legal for us." Okay. He just quoted your prophet, Deuteronomy 20, verses 1 to 9, and Joshua entering Canaan to wipe out the Canaanites, Joshua 7 and 10. And your prophet said, these were ordered by Allah, jihad fi sabilillah. And let me show you the story about the son, so you don't think I'm making it up. He said to the son, "O son, you're under Allah's order, and I'm under Allah's order. O Allah, stop it from setting." It was stopped till Allah made him victorious. Now let's see what he's quoting. All right. So if you have a problem with these Old Testament wars, your prophet didn't. So why are you a Muslimah? Well, let me show you. Okay, the son, huh? The day the Lord, Joshua 10, delivered the Amorites over to the Israelites, Joshua prayed to the Lord before Israel, "O sun, stand still over Gibeon. O moon, over the valley of Jalon." The sun stood still and the moon stood motionless while the nation took vengeance on its enemies. The event is recorded in the scroll of the upright one. The sun stood motionless in the middle of the sky and did not set for about a full day. There has not been a day like it before or since. The Lord listened to a human being, for the Lord fought for Israel. According to Muhammad, that's your Allah. Then Joshua and all Israel returned to the camp at Gilgal. Your prophet said this was Allah who obeyed Yusha. In case you missed it, so you don't say, no, brother. No, it doesn't say that. Oh, yep. So the prophet carried out the expedition. And when he reached that town at the time, or nearly of the time of Asr, he said to the son, "O son, you're under Allah's order, and I'm under Allah's order. O Allah, stop it, the sun from setting." It was stopped. So why did Allah order Joshua and Moses to slaughter men, women, and children? Can you explain that to me?
Well, if Allah ordered someone to do something, yeah. So I was saying that if Allah said something, then it should happen. Like, we shouldn't question that.
So why were you questioning the Old Testament? Because the Muhammad said, Numbers 31, 15, 18, your God ordered it. So why were you questioning it?
Okay, that is a good question.
I want to hear what you just said. You just said, if Allah ordered it, no one should question it. So why did you question it? Because you came to question it. But now that I showed you, your Allah ordered it. Now, Allahu Alam. So why were you questioning it?
I wasn't saying Allahu Alam.
No, I'm saying Allahu Alam. Allah knows. Because that's what you said. If Allah ordered it, we shouldn't question it. Because Allah knows best. So why did you question it?
Yeah, I did not link. So I did study some of that hadith that you just brought up about the sun and so on, but I did not link like both, like with those verses.
Well, so let me show you the other one that's going to make it harder for you. You see here it says, a prophet amongst the prophets carried out a holy military expedition. So he said to his followers, anyone who has married a woman and wants to consummate the marriage and has not done so yet should not accompany me, nor should a man who has built a house but has not completed its roof, nor a man who has sheep or she camels is waiting for the birth of her young ones. Now let me show you where this is from. Deuteronomy 20, okay? The very book where Moses says, God has ordered you to enter Canaan and slaughter the inhabitants if they don't repent. Here it is, Deuteronomy 20. Pay attention. When you go to war against your enemies and see chariotery and troops who outnumber you, do not be afraid of them. For the Lord your God, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt, is with you. As you move forward for battle, the priest will approach and say to the soldiers, listen, Israel, today you're moving forward to do battle with your enemies. Do not be faint-hearted, do not fear and tremble or be terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you to fight on your behalf against your enemies to give you victory. Moreover, the officers are to say to the troops, who among you has built a new house? Ah, sound familiar? And not dedicated. He may go home, lest he die in the battle and someone else dedicated. Or who among you has planted a vineyard and benefited from it? He may go home, lest he die in a battle and someone else benefit from it. Or who among you has become engaged woman, but has not married her? He may go home, lest he die in battle and someone else marry her. In addition, the officers are to say to the troops, who among you is afraid and faint-hearted? He may go home, so that he will not make his fellow soldier's heart as fearful as his own. Then when the officers have finished speaking, they must appoint unit commanders to lead the troops. Wow, wait, hold on. We read this in Sahih Bukhari. Look. Hold on here. Anyone who has married a woman and wants to consummate marriage and has not done so yet should not accompany me. Nor should a man who's built a house but has not completed its roof. Nor a man who has sheep or camels and is waiting for the birth of her young ones. So your prophet confirmed Deuteronomy 20 as being from Allah. So what's your problem with it again?
Okay, you said earlier that you can explain that to me if I was an atheist. Can you do that?
Yes. If you're an atheist, I'll say. Now,
I
you're
am not an atheist.
So as a Muslim, but I want everyone to hear you. As a Muslim, you say, Alhamdulillah, this is from Allah, right? You have no problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, okay. But
Okay,
you said earlier you can explain it to me as an...
She agrees. Alhamdulillah, Allah ordered this jihad for Musa and Yusha to do.
I know that story, but it just, the details, it sounds more graphic.
There's nothing in the details that says that Allah said you can only kill combatants. It's quoting and referring to the Old Testament as it is. I just read it to you. And if I show you that even Surah Al-Baqarah confirms 1 Samuel 15:3, I'll show it to you. But I want you now to acknowledge, yes, if I'm going to remain Muslima, I cannot attack these wars. Because according to my prophet, that was Allah who ordered these wars.
Okay, and I was asking that, like, atheist, I wasn't attacking. Yeah.
No, I know you're not. I know. When I say attack, I'm speaking generally. Attack generally. Don't take it like you specifically, criticism. But now, if an atheist asks me, before I answer them, I'll say, when you tell me that what God did in ordering, quote unquote, these genocides, because that's what it's called, they call it genocide, you're saying it's evil. By what standard are you using? What ethical, moral standard are you appealing to tell me that this is objectively evil? How do you know that? If you're an atheist, this is what I would ask an atheist.
So, are you saying that God is the only source of morality on earth?
Well, no, I'm saying if there is no God, morality is subjective. It's not objectively true. This is why human beings come up with different ethical systems. So which ethical system is right? And why should I presuppose your ethical system as being correct and bind myself to it? By what authority? You're not God, you're not a prophet. So now answer as an atheist. If you're an atheist, how do you know that these wars are morally evil, objectively morally evil? One more. Don't tell me what you feel. You're not God, so I don't care about your feelings. How do you know this is objectively evil?
So, according to modern day laws, this is evil, this is illegal, and it is a war crime.
Hold on. So, according to modern day laws, Muhammad would be in jail for pedophilia. So, modern day laws are now your way of determining moral absolutes? So,
no,
you mean when
not
America,
exactly.
Well, let me go with you. When America gives $26 billion to Netanyahu to throw bombs indiscriminately and wipe out Gaza, because of Hamas, do you say that's evil? America says no, that's the right for Israel to exist.
Yeah.
So atheists, answer my objection.
And
What is your, because you're acting as the atheist, I know you're not, but you're saying atheist. What is your standard of ethical, moral, objective? I want something objective, not, oh, well, to me it's evil. Well, to me it's not evil. So now who's right? What Hitler did in Nazi, he thought he was doing great. He was advancing human society by getting rid of the Jews and all those invalids, right? Because he didn't just kill 6 million Jews, he killed 7 million others because he wanted to create a super race. And he thought that these people were a cancer and a burden on the advancement, evolutionary advancement, because humans needed to progress to the next level. And he thought he was right. So was Hitler wrong?
yeah, he was wrong 100%.
But how do you know he's wrong? He said he's right. And if he won out, everyone would agree with him. How do you know he's wrong?
I would use modern science since I'm in STEM.
What modern science? Science is amoral. What I mean is, science does not teach us anything about morality. Science has no ethical, moral system that science is attached to. Science does not govern morality. It's amoral, not immoral. Amoral meaning it's neutral. So
but you just said that Hitler, you said Hitler was doing whatever he did because he thought he was helping the humanity, but science says otherwise.
How does science say otherwise? What could you appeal to science to show that his understanding that people who have disabilities and do not contribute to the advancement of society, but are a burden on society and drain the resources of society, need to be removed? How does science determine that he's right or wrong? And if you want to appeal to science, let's go with science now. We know scientifically, we know this is a fact, that prepubescent girls physiologically, let alone psychologically, cannot handle penetration, sexual intimacy, until they've reached menarche, when their hips have fully developed and their bones have fully been formed, and that takes place around 16, 17. Anything prior to that does damage, physiological damage to the bodies of young girls. So if I'm going to appeal to science, why did your prophet mount a 9-year-old? So let's come back to the point. What is your ethical system by which you determine what God ordered in the Old Testament is evil? You can't appeal to Islam. Muhammad confirmed it.
And I didn't say it was evil. I just said.
I know you're not. I'm talking generally. Don't take it personally. So what do you appeal to tell me that what these Old Testament commands, these Old Testament commands ordered by God, they are wrong or right? Because if you're saying, as a Muslim, Muhammad confirmed them, so they're right. As an atheist, you have no moral absolutes. You have no objective way of telling me this is right or wrong.
Okay. Can I ask? Can we move on to the next? Because your answer was enough, I guess, for now.
Yeah. Well, you can, if you want to hear the wisdom in God ordering this. I've done many sessions on this. I'm here. Let me show you. Here, if you go here, if you go to my YouTube channel, and if you just go here, let me show you. And we go here, and you put in 1 Samuel 15:3. Just 1 Samuel 15:3. Look what popped up. Sam Shamoun, violence in the Old Testament, Adam seeker. See that right there?
Yes.
You just put 1 Samuel 1, Samuel 15:3. And also, I refute it. Daniel Hakikuchu on this. So, Robert Spencer. I'll send you links right now. Hold on. So, I've done a lot of sessions on these. Spencer and explain. Daniel and Jake. Okay, let's see what pops up. Daniel Pikachu and Muslim at a retard expose Old Testament on apostasy and slaughter of the Amalekites. You see it? Yes. Let me get you the links. Here it is. This is it. Here it is. So, guys, I'm going to share the links. Here it is. In private for you. All right. It's in private right there. You see it? And for the rest of you, here it is. So I've already explained this, the logic of it from the Bible's system of morality. God is perfectly just and wise, and you'll see his compassion and patience. Now, the other one, let me send you the links to the other one. Here's the other one. Right here. Here it is. Old Testament. Does Old Testament teach violence? Here it is. Now, okay, now what's the other question? And we'll move on here. Now, in private chat, there it is. You see it?
Yes.
All right. Now, what's the other question?
Okay, the other question, and I'm sure a lot of people keep bringing up this verse, Deuteronomy 22, 28, 29.
No, don't tell me
the
that.
50 shekels.
Rape?
Yes, and
So
a lot of
rape.
people like,
Yeah.
I don't like on TikTok every single day. A lot of people bring that verse up,
Yeah.
and like
Well,
I did read it, but I don't know. It feels weird.
yeah. Well, here it is. Number one. Now, I'm going to answer it, but then I'm going to tell you, you know what religion sanctions rape? We can say, guys, we can say rape on YouTube, I think. Here, now, I already wrote an article on this too. You see, all these have been covered. No, the text has nothing to do with rape. That's a lie. Because if you read Deuteronomy 22, 28, 29 in its context and the parallel, Exodus 22, 16 to 17, here, I just sent you the article and for the rest of you. All right. But now, if this is kind of weird and troublesome, you're going to have to leave Islam if you're honest. And that's between you and God. Okay. If you actually look at the words used, I know the NIV says rape. Very bad translation. And you look, I give you the words, tafaz, what they mean, shakab, what they mean and do not mean. And I show you it does not mean rape. It means seducing a woman. Now, you can seduce a woman in one of two ways. You can force a woman, that would be rape, or you can keep sweet talking and seducing a woman until she finally gives in, because I can't use you as an example, you're Muslimah. In the West, sadly, you have men who will keep pursuing women and will entice them. The word can mean entice them and try to manipulate them emotionally to give in to their advances, so they sleep with them. When they sleep with them, they're done with them. How do I know? Because of the words used, and I show it to you there, and the parallel, because this command was first given in Exodus 22. Deuteronomy simply comes and clarifies what was said earlier. Here it is, Exodus 22, 16 to 17. If a man entices a virgin who's not betrothed and lies with her. See, and what is the word entice? To persuade. It's not talking about rape. It's talking about a man taking advantage of a woman emotionally and enticing her and persuading her by telling her what she wants to hear, deceiving her into then trusting him so he can have sex with her. Now, in that context, the man then has to marry her and cannot divorce her, or the father can ask for a dowry. It has nothing to do with rape. That's a misinterpretation of the text. And I just gave you the article to prove it. So I'm not making things up. And it's not just my view, because I know people will quote certain people, certain commentaries, but here you go. I quote commentaries that show that I'm not the first one to come up with this explanation. Deuteronomy 22, 20, 29, Study Bible, New Interpreted Study Bible. Preceding legislation dealt with case rape involving women already married or engaged. The ruling outlined here is addressed in case seduction in which it is assumed that the woman was or may have been consenting. It has nothing to do with rape.
Okay.
But now, hold on. Now that I've showed you from the language, the Hebrew and the context and the parallel, your religion allows you to rape married women and women who are not married that you've taken in captivity and sell them off. Are you okay with that?
I do know what you might be talking about.
I don't know if you know.
Quiz me. You don't need to show me. I don't know exactly what you're talking about and what verse.
Okay, so are you okay with your religion then here? Because it's Surah An-Nisa 424. Forbidden for you are women already except those whom your right hands possess. Now, you don't need to guess because you're a Sunni Muslimah The Sahih tells you how this was applied. This is Sahih Muslim. Okay, Sahih Muslim. So your religion is the one that says you can rape women and even married women. So are you still a Muslimah? Here it is. Sahih Muslim. Chapter 9, it is permissible to have intercourse with a female captive after it is established that she's not pregnant. As long as she's not pregnant, and if she has a husband, then her marriage is annulled when she is captured. Now I'm going to read the hadith, but I'm going to ask you a question. I want to see how honest you are. And you look honest. Imagine you're not a Muslimah. Let's say you're a Jewish woman, or you're a Hindi, or you're a Christian. And I come in, I'm the caliph. I come in with the Muslims. I attack your city. I take you captive. I take your mother captive. I take your sister captive, and you're married. And then we say, because we've taken you captive, your marriage is now annulled. It's canceled because we own you, and we now have sex with you and sell you off. Would you be okay with that?
That scenario sounds horrible, and
well, that's
I'd rather unalive myself than being touched by someone that is not my husband.
So then you just condemn Muhammad to hell because that's what he did. Here it is. Abu Sayyid al-Khudri. Here, I'm not lying. Sahih Muslim. Abu Sayyid al-Khudri reported that the Battle of Hunayn, Allah's messenger sent an army to Autas and encountered the enemy and fought with them. Having overcome them and taken them captives, the companions of Allah's messenger seemed to refrain. And you say you read Arabic, right? You're going to read the Arabic for me?
Yes.
Okay, the Arabic is right here. Right here. Seemed to refrain from having intercourse with captive women because their husbands being polytheists. So they didn't want to have sex because their pagan husbands were still alive. Allah said, no, don't worry about it. He sent down Surah An-Nisa 24. And women already married except those whom your right hands possess, i.e. they were lawful for them. Meaning, no, they're lawful for you. Just make sure they're not pregnant. They're iddah. You just condemn Muhammad. You said you'd rather die than have someone do it. But that's what your prophet did to other people's wives. Why are you a Muslimah?
So we're talking about slavery now, and
no. We're talking about taking captive women in jihad and they're married. It's not slaves. It's the Muslims doing jihad fi sabilillah. And whether you like it or not, they're doing it right now. In Syria, they're doing it right now. In Afghanistan, and in Syria, what did ISIL, what did Al-Qaeda do when they entered Syria? What did they do to women? What did they do to them?
They did horrible things. They took Yazidis and they raped them and they sold them.
That's because they followed this. Why don't you be honest? They were doing what your prophet said here. You just said it's horrible. So then why are you still a Muslimah? Right here, I gave it to you. Here, read the link. I'm going to give it to you. Read in Arabic if you don't believe me.
Yeah,
They were following your prophet.
So
why are you honest? Be honest with me. Why are you read it black and white? This is sunnah.com. This is not christian.com. I didn't quote Christian source. Sahih Muslim. There's the Arabic. Based on Surah An-Nisa. This is the ayah of the Quran, Kitab Allah, and the sunnah of your prophet. And you just said they did horrible things and I'd rather die. But that's what your prophet did.
So from the Muslim paradigm, it is not rape because they basically own these people.
But what did you say if I owned you? I take you and I own you. And I said, no, listen, woman, it's not rape. I own you. Your husband is not your husband. I own you. I'm going to have sex with you. So you're not going to say it's rape? Just because I said it's not rape because I own you?
I'm not sure if consent should be taken.
No, there is no consent. No, I'm going to say, I knew you're going to say that. But let's say you're right. You're telling me a sane woman, a sane moral woman is going to consent to have sex with her captive, especially her husband's alive?
Most likely no.
But hold on. Jalal al-Din al-Suyuti, right? Lubab al-Nuqul fi asbab al-Nuzul. Suyuti, al-Suyuti. On this ayah, look what he says. It is narrated on authority of Ibn Abbas that he said, when it was the day of Hunayn, and Allah Almighty helped the Muslims conquer Hunayn, the Muslims got female captives from the people of scripture, Ahl al-Kitab, meaning Jews or Christian. If a man liked to have sexual intercourse with any woman of them, whom his right hand possessed, she would say to him, I have a husband. Hey, wait, I have a husband. Allah sent down the verse saying, doesn't matter. Where's the consent?
I'm not sure if Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah follow Jalaluddin al-Suyuti.
Ya ukhti, this is the Sunnah of your Prophet. This is Sahih Muslim, Sahih Bukhari, Jami al-Tirmidhi. When you say what Ahl Sunnah wa Jama'ah say today, and today they'll tell you, if you don't have a khilafah, if you don't have a khalif, you can't do any of this. I know that. Forget about what you can't do. In the time of the khilafah, when you had a caliphate, they were doing this left, right, and center. Umar was doing it. Abu Bakr was doing it. Ali was doing it. Because this is a sunnah of your Prophet. So again, there is no consent. Are you okay with this? This is what your Prophet did. And this is what his companions did. This is what the Salaf did to Jews, Christians, and other kafirah. This is what they did. When they went to Egypt, when they went to the Levant, Syria, your ancestors were Christian in Syria and Lebanon, Jordan. What happened? When the Muslims came, they imposed Islam, and then eventually you ended up becoming Muslim because the Muslims raped your ancestors and married them. But the Christians could not marry the Muslim woman. You have in your blood the blood of rapists if you're from Syria. This is your history. I'm not lying. This is your history. You can't deny it, because when Umar entered the Levant and he attacked Syria and he attacked Urdun and he attacked Lebanon and Jerusalem, these were Christian strongholds. Majority Christian. They were in the possession of Christians. Where are they? You have in your blood women who were raped by the Muslim men. So again, are you okay with this?
I live in 2024, and this sounds super strange and weird to talk about.
But sister, it was even weird for Moses. Do you know why? Let me show you the difference between Moses' God and your prophet. 2,200 years before your prophet. You know what God told Moses? Here it is. Deuteronomy 21:10-14. So if you ask me, well, Sam, how do you know this is evil? What's your standard? The God of the Bible. The God that Muhammad said sent him. Look what God says when the Israelites go to war and they find a captive woman. Look at the difference. This was given 2,200 years before your prophet's Sunnah. Deuteronomy 21:10-14. When you go out to do battle with your enemies, and the Lord your God allows you to prevail, and you take prisoners. Now watch. If you should see among them an attractive woman, whom you wish to take as a wife, notice, you can't just have sex with her. You have to make her your wife. You may bring her back to your house. She must shave her head, trim her nails, discard the clothing she was wearing when captured, stay in her house, lamenting, crying for her father and mother full month, meaning you give her a full month to mourn the death of her parents, and you don't touch her whole month. After that, you may sleep with her and become her husband, and she your wife. There is no raping. You marry her and you give her the status of a wife, make her equal to Israelite women. If
so she basically becomes his wife, and according to the Jewish tradition, she can leave whenever she wants.
Yeah, right here, verse 14. If you're not pleased with her, then you must let her go where she pleases. You cannot in any case sell her. You must not take advantage of her. She's already humiliated her, meaning that you attacked her people because there's a war. Then, now that you end up divorcing her, she's free to go where she wants. You can't sell her. Right there. This is 2,200 years before your prophet. How come your prophet didn't follow this?
So, okay, I need to ask like 3 questions, like 3 short questions, like yes or no questions about this passage. If in case of taking a slave during war,
You can't
cannot.
take a slave woman for sex. That's the point.
So you have a slave, and then if you wanted to have sex with her, you have to marry her,
Right
and you
here.
cannot sell her. Like
Right here.
you cannot.
Sister, I'm not trying to cut you off. It's here. If you find among the prisoners an attractive woman, you make her your wife. It's right here. I mean, you don't need to ask me. It's here. And you can't have sex with her right away. You then have her shave her head, sign of mourning, trim her nails, change her clothes, fresh clothes, and you wait a full month. Then you make her your wife and you're her husband. It's right here. Why? I don't need to ask me. It's here. Then if you're not pleased with her, like men and women don't last, there's divorce. She is to go where she wants. You let her go. You cannot sell her. You cannot take advantage of her. So you don't need to ask me. It's right here. Here, let me enlarge the screen.
Okay.
See it?
Okay. And last question, since we're talking about slavery, I think you know what verse I'm gonna bring up.
Well, I don't know if you want to talk about slavery because it's going to hurt the Quran. But go ahead.
No, not exactly.
We'll
so Exodus. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, Exodus is going to back for. I know it's going to back for sister. Stuck for Allah. It's not going to help your case. Exodus
actually no 2021.
Exodus which one?
20 and 21.
Chapter 20?
No, 21 and then verse 20 and 21.
Okay, let's go here. I know what you're talking about, but let's bring it up. Because you actually misquote this as well. I know what you're doing. I know this, but because I did a session. If a man strikes, I know, right here, sister. But I'm going to turn it against you. Chapter 2 of the Quran, 178. Because this is what happens when you don't read in context, sister. You stopped at 21. Let me give it all for you, okay? You ready?
Okay.
I know what you're talking about. Sister, believe me, I'm not as stupid as I look.
No, you don't look stupid. So listen, I just basically made a list of the verses that everyone keeps bringing up on TikTok, and then, yeah.
Okay, watch here, in front of your eyes. Let's read the context. They stop at 21, right? Okay. If a man strikes his male servant or his female servant with a staff, so that he or she dies as a result of the blow, he will surely be punished. Now notice, it's not saying you can strike them. There's nothing in the Old Testament that you can strike your slave. It's saying if someone does it, because in real life, there are people lose their testimony and then they react in sin. However, okay, now he's to be punished, right? However, if the injured servant survives 1 or 2 days, the owner will not be punished for he has suffered the loss. Okay, but let's finish it. Let me finish it. I'm going to prove to you this applies to the slave. If men fight and hit a pregnant woman, and her child is born prematurely, but there is no serious injury, the one who hit her will surely be punished in accordance with what the woman's husband demands of him, and he'll pay what the court decides. But if there's serious injury, watch here, then you will give a life for a life. This is the principle. Now I'm going to show you this applies to the slave. Life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. If a man strikes the eye of his male servant or his female servant, so it destroys it, he will let the servant go free as compensation for the eye. If he knocks out the tooth of his male servant or his female servant, he will let the servant go free as compensation for the tooth. So right there, they are free automatically. But now you see this law right here? It says eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. You see it here? You see it, right?
Yeah.
Let me show you it applies to the slave. You ready?
Okay.
Leviticus 24, 17 to 22. If a man beats any person to death, he must be put to death. Any person. Let's see. One who beats an animal to death must make restitution for it, life for life. If a man inflicts an injury on his fellow citizen, just as he's done, it must be done to him. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, just as he inflicts injury on another person. There is no restriction. If it's another human being, whether free or slave, injury must be inflicted on him. One who beats an animal to death must make restitution for it, but one who beats a person to death must be put to death, no exception. If it's a human being, whether he's a foreigner or he's a slave, a human being, you injure him, you get injured. You put him to death, you are to die. There'll be one regulation for you, whether a resident, foreigner, or native citizen, for I am the Lord your God. So why didn't they read the whole thing? This applies to any human person, whether free or slave, or even if a non-Israelite lives in Israel, he's not a Jew. If you harm him, you will suffer the same harm. Same law. And that's why here, in the context of how you treat slaves, right before and after, you're told, life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. So not only if I injure a free man, if I injure a slave, I will suffer that injury, and then he is to be let go. Now let me show you your Quran, because now let's see. Look at the problem I have with the Quran. Let me show you now. You ready? Because we mentioned this, right?
Yeah, I have my Quran. Which verse?
Okay, but no, look at your Quran, what it says. You see the difference, right? I just showed you. Any human person, whether free or slave, if you inflict injury, you suffer the same injury. In the case of a slave, he's also to go free. But watch your Quran, 2178. Look at the law of your Quran. You ready? You see it on the screen, right?
Yeah, but I have to see it in Arabic because I understand it.
Sister, tell me where the justice is in the Quran. Oh, you who believe, the law of equality is prescribed to you in cases of murder. The free for the free, the slave for the slave, the woman for the woman. How the hell does this make sense, and how is this just? In murder, if I murder a slave and I'm free, then I don't get killed, because you only put a slave to death for the murder of a slave. And you only put a woman to death for the murder of a woman. You do not kill a free man if he killed a slave. And you don't kill a free man if he killed a woman. It says free for free, slave for slave, woman for woman. You're telling me this is just? It's your Quran that you should have a problem with, not my Bible, which your prophet believed. So I'm a free man, you're a woman. According to this ayah, be honest with me. If I kill you, a woman, can you put me to death?
No, but this is not the only ayah that is talking about. Okay, this is not the only ayah that is talking about qasas.
Oh, so then you're talking about your Quran contradicts itself. Good job.
I did not say that.
Okay, hold on. If you're telling me there's another ayah that says something differently, then how can another ayah contradict? The free is to be put to death for the murder of the free. The woman is to be put to death for the murder of the woman. And the slave put to death for the murder of a slave. And another ayah tells me differently. That's a contradiction. That's why you came up with nasikh wa mansukh, abrogating and abrogated. So if I go with this ayah before those other ayat were revealed, I am free and I murder you. According to this ayah, you're a woman. Can I be put to death?
Yes.
No. Free for free. Woman for woman. Slave for slave. I'm a man. I murder a woman. It didn't say man for woman. Yeah, you got to deal with this. So what did your scholars do? The ulama? Oh, nasikh wa mansukh. This ayah was abrogated. So wait, Allah didn't get it right the first time? Because this verse, if you read it, oh, I'm a man, I killed a woman. Sorry, you can't kill me. You may kill one of my women, but you can't kill me. Oh, I'm a free man, I killed a slave. Sorry, you can't kill me because I'm not a slave. You may kill my slave, but you can't kill me. Oops. And then an ayah comes and says, no. We cancel this. So what you're saying is your God, Allah, changed his mind, or he realized, this ayah, not as clear. Let me now abrogate it. Nasikh wa mansukh. So if I had this ayah and I go with this ayah, where's the justice of this? So you are a woman and you kill a slave. According to this ayah, can you be put to death?
Because I did study like ahkam al-qasas and so on.
Yes,
so
good. Ahkam where you had to go to scholars to help explain the contradiction in the Quran, because if you just went with the ayah, it makes no sense. I know this. I know your Sharia, your Ahkam, and how Surah Al-Ma'idah 545 abrogates 2178, or Surah Al-Nahl 16:120. I know this, sister. But you're only convincing us that Allah had to correct himself and change his mind because he kept making mistakes. So now you need the ulama to help you with your Quran. We know this. You're not telling me something I don't know. I know what ayat you're talking about. Surah Al-Ma'idah 545. But you know where that comes from? That comes from the Torah, the Old Testament, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Showing you my Old Testament is better than your Quran because it's quoting my Old Testament. I know what the scholars say. They say that this ayah given to Bani Israel, Yahud, we ordained therein, the Torah, life for life, eye for an eye, nose for nose, ear for ear. That's quoting my Bible. So your Quran needed my Bible to be just. But if I went with Muhammad, this is the justice of Muhammad. Free for free, slave for slave, woman for woman. My Bible, which is what this ayah is quoting, it's quoting the Bible, the Torah, the Kitab given to Bani Israel. Look how just my Bible is. Your Quran needs it, and it quotes it. Then we just read in Exodus 22, 21, 22, 25, eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. Leviticus 24, 17, 22. Here, let me show you. Where is this coming from, this ayah? It didn't come from your Quran. It came from the Torah given to Yahud, the Jews. It's quoting my Bible. So your Quran needs my Bible to be just. Here's what it's quoting, in case you missed it. Here it is. Here's what it's quoting, in case you missed it. So my Bible bails out your Quran, but my Bible doesn't need your Quran. Yep, right here. Look what it's quoting, right here. But if there's any search engine, then you'll give a life for a life, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. That's the Torah, written 20 years before Muhammad. Exodus 21, 22, 25. Here, again, if a man inflicts an injury on his fellow citizen, just as he's done it, it must be done to him. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. And what does the Quran quote? It quotes life for life, eye for eye, nose for nose, but it's quoting it in the context of the Yahud, the Jews, coming to Muhammad for judgment. He goes, no, go to your book. Your book, it has guidance and light. It has just commands like life for life, eye for an eye. That didn't come from Muhammad. This is what came from Muhammad. O you who believe, the law of equality is prescribed to you in cases of murder. Free for free, slave for slave, woman for woman. I'll give you $1 million and I'll take a shot if you can show me this in the Bible. This is from the Bible, perfectly just. This is from your prophet and Allah, perfectly unjust. So I'm asking you, if I was living at this time when this ayah was given by your prophet, because Surah Al-Ma'idah came later, and you murdered a slave, you're a woman, according to this ayah, can you be put to death?
So I think the scholars, I'm pretty sure the scholars say yes, like يقتل الحر بالعبد والعبد بالحر.
Sister, you didn't hear. I know your scholars bail out the Quran and help Allah and His Messenger. I know the scholars. I just told you, I know what the scholars are going to appeal to. Surah Al-Ma'idah 545, Surah Al-Nahl 16, verse ayah 126. But that's not what I asked you. If I was living at the time this ayah came down before the other ayahs, and you, a woman, killed a slave, according to this command, can you be put to death?
So
yeah, okay, we know the answer because you don't want to answer because you know the truth.
No. So I because I just looked it up. So so the school of Hanafi, the school.
Oh, wait. I want everyone to hear it. Did you go see who she went to? Abu Hanifa. Now is Abu Hanifa Muhammad? Well, I'm just asking, is he Muhammad?
No, he's not Muhammad.
Was he there when this ayah came down before Surah Al-Ma'idah?
No, 100% he wasn't there.
Well, what you're telling me, which you didn't listen, that's why I'm saying, listen to me. I know you're going to go to Shafi, or you're going to go to Malik, right? Or you're going to go to Ahmad ibn Hanbal or Abu Hanifa. I know they come later. And they have to then take all of the Quran and make sense out of this mess. I know. That's not what I asked you. If Abu Hanifa was living there, when this ayah came down, not this, and he was at the time your prophet, not telling me after the Quran has been collected by Uthman and all the ayat are there, now they have to read all the ayat and make sense. 2178 contradicts 545 and contradicts 16126. Oh, that means this came earlier and it was mansukh, it was abrogated. I know what your scholars say. Let me repeat my question one more time. If you're living at the time of your prophet, there is no Abu Hanifa, there is no Ahmad ibn Hanbal, there is no Shafi, there is no Malik ibn Anas, Malik's Muwatta, none of that. And it was just this ayah. And you didn't have Surah Al-Ma'idah yet. That came later. You didn't have that yet. And you, a woman, killed a slave. According to this, can you be put to death?
Well, likely no.
Say it again.
Likely no.
Good. Now, if a slave put you to death, a woman, could he be put to death?
According to the ayah, or like I have to think about it.
Here, ayah, here, this one. Slave for slave.
I think
so if the slave puts you to death, a woman, can he be put to death according to the ayah?
No.
If a free man, me, put you, a woman, to death, can I be put to death? Pay attention.
So,
woman for woman. I know I may look like a woman, but I'm a man. And if I murder you, according to this ayah, can I be put to death?
No.
That's it. So then, guess what happens? Guess what your Quran did? It went to my Bible to give you true justice. Notice now what ayah came. Life for life, eye for eye, nose for nose, ear for ear, tooth for tooth, and wounds equal for equal. Now, where did this come from originally?
Yeah, from the verse you just showed me earlier. Yeah.
Why is it that Moses' law, 2,200 years before Muhammad, is more just and fair than Muhammad's Sharia? And your prophet needs my Bible to be just.
But again, so for example, the stoning, like us Muslims, we do know that like we do take the previous laws.
Yeah, okay, but I'm not asking the stoning part. When you have a theocracy and God is appearing to Israel in prophets and miracles to show, as harsh as those commands are, there's a basis for it because God left them no excuse to deny his existence. That's another. What I'm saying is here, this was the original law of retaliation, lax talionis, for murder, which is very unjust. So why didn't Muhammad straight away go with this? Why does he come up with this that is unfair and unjust, and then later appeals to the kitab of the Jews and Christians, life for life, eye for an eye, showing how justice is, and Muhammad saw how justice is. So he appeals to this later on, which is superior to what he gave earlier. So how is it that the Old Testament, New Testament are way better than the Quran, if the Quran is supposed to be better and superior? So what I want to leave you with, you can tag me Skype, you have more questions. Number one, the very problems Muslims have with the Old Testament, it's in Islam. It is Islam that says you can take married women captive, rape them, and sell them, not the Bible. It is Islam that says here that if a slave is put to death by a woman or a man, You can't kill the woman or a man. So then what did Islam need? It needed my Bible to say, no, 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 no. It doesn't matter. Life for life. So if I kill a slave, that's still a life. I'm to be put to death. But that came from the Bible, which we just read. So the problems you have is in Islam, not in my Bible. The problem you have is in Islam, not in my Bible. The Bible does not allow rape. And these so-called wars that Muslims have a problem with, your prophet said these wars were ordered by Allah. In fact, I want to leave you with this. One more, I'm going to give you an article. When they tell, how could God order the killing of women and children? Well, I answer that. Go watch the session. But my sister, you know this very well. Your Quran says when Allah flooded the people of Nuh, or when he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, did he leave anyone to survive?
He left only the believers.
What believer? Yeah, that was only Noah, right? He entered the ark. Everyone else? What happened to everyone else?
Yeah, they were unalive.
So hold on. When Allah flooded the people of Nuh, were there children?
I am pretty sure that the people who were flooded were the
children, right?
disbelievers. No, just
No,
the disbelievers.
Were there babies, infants?
Likely and logically, yes.
Were there animals?
100% yes.
So how come when the Quran talks about Allah destroying everything, even infants and animals, Muslims have no problem? Not saying you Muslims, but when we read the Bible and God orders, let's say, people to be wiped out, oh, astaghfirullah, this is evil. What about Sodom and Gomorrah? The Quran says Allah destroyed the people of Lutti, right? Because of their sin, right?
Yeah.
And when he destroyed the place, the only ones that survived was Lut and his children, and even his wife died, right?
Yeah.
In Sodom and Gomorrah, were there infants, babies?
Likely, yes. It is
and
a
animals,
village,
right?
so yeah, and animals and yeah.
So why is it that when the Quran confirms the stories of the Bible that whole places were wiped out where there were children and infants, Muslims have no problem, but when they find verses in the Bible that are not explicitly mentioned in the Quran, oh, how evil. Why this inconsistency, dishonesty by the Muslims?
I think it is because the Bible is more detailed and kind of more graphic.
Okay, that's fine. But even without the Quran being as graphic, no one denies, if they're a Muslim, that the Quran says Allah drowned the people of Nuh. Only him, his wife and sons survived, and even one of his sons drowned. Everyone else there drowned, but there were infants and animals. Allah drowned them all, and Muslims have no problem with that. Secondly, the Quran confirms Allah destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Confirms it. The people of Lut, right? Last time I checked, there were infants and animals in Sodom and Gomorrah. Allah wipes them all out, and no Muslim complains. So why they complain about the Old Testament when the Old Testament mentions, oh yeah, there were children and animals there too. And then notice Sahih Bukhari, volume 9, book 88, number 224. I'm going to show you in Sunnah.com. Narrated Ibn Amr, Allah's apostle, that if Allah sends punishment upon a nation, then it befalls upon the whole population indiscriminately. He punished them entirely, every one. That means he's also destroying the infants, children, and animals. How come the Muslims don't have a problem with the Sunnah of Muhammad? Now let's see if it's here. Sunnah.com, so you don't think I make it up. Here you go. This is Sahih Bukhari. Now you read Arabic, right?
I do.
The English may be bad. You may not like the English. Can you tell me the Arabic of Sahih Bukhari from your prophet? Does it say he wipes out the whole entire nation?
Yeah, it does.
Say it again.
It does.
So then, can you tell the Muslims, can you stop attacking the Bible for these arguments? Because the Christians know your arguments and they're burying us. Please, for the love of Allah, can you stop? It doesn't work with Christians anymore that know the Quran, Sunnah, and know their Bible. Can you tell them that for me? Say, Sam Shamoun gave me a message for you Muslims. Please do not challenge Sam Shamoun on the Old Testament wars and violence, because he knows your Quran and Sunnah, and he knows the context Bible. You're going to embarrass the Ummah. Leave it alone. Don't mention it anymore. Now you have my Skype. If you have more questions, let me know it's you. I'll come up. We'll answer your questions directly, okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for answering my questions.
My pleasure. We'll keep praying for you, but now you know the truth. It'll be a matter of time. If your heart is open, you're going to come to Jesus Christ and see how beautiful it is. But we'll talk about it next time.
May God guide us all. Thank you for answering my questions.
Hallelujah. And he will guide you. And I'm going to tell you where he's going to guide you. Before you go, here's what I'm going to leave you with, these two. And I
did read the entire Gospel of Matthew, so.
You've read it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I want to leave you with these two things. Just it, and before you go. I want you, after I read these to you, go in the Quran, find me something similar to this. Just you, between you and God. Here's Jesus speaking. Let me show you what Jesus says. And I want you to go in the Quran and say, man, can I find something like this? Such promise and hope? Here, Matthew 11, 27, 30. All things have been handed over to me by my Father. Well, according to the Quran, Allah is not the Father, Jesus. That's another story. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son decides to reveal him. Now look, this is Jesus speaking. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Salam. That's why we say Salam al-Masih. Take my yoke on you and learn from me, because I am gentle, humble in heart, and you'll find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and my load is not hard to carry. Please do me a favor. Next time when we meet, say, Sam, I found an ayah like this that sounds as beautiful like this. And then the final one. John 14, verses 1 to 6. John 14, verses 1 to 6. Do not let your hearts be distressed. You believe in God, believe also in me. Now, who's the God? There are many dwelling places in my Father's house. God is my Father. Otherwise, I would have told you, because I'm going away to make ready a place for you. Now, look at his promise. You who believe in me, I'm preparing a place for you in Jannah. I'm going to build you a home in Jannah. I'm going to do it. Okay? And if I go and make ready a place for you, I will come again and take you to be with me, so that where I am, you may be too. So he's promising, when death comes and you believe in me, I will be the one to bring you to your home in heaven, because at death, I will come and meet you and take you home. And you know the way where I'm going. Now watch. Thomas said, Lord, we don't know where you're going. How can we know the way? So if you're praying sincerely, here's your answer. When you pray, Allah guide you, Sirat al-Mustaqim. Jesus says, you don't need to look. It's me. Jesus replied, I am the way, al-Tariq, and the truth, al-Haq. And by the way, one of the 99 names of Allah is al-Haq. Al-Haq, nowhere in the Quran Hadith, the words al-Haq is given to anyone but Allah, not even to your Prophet. Jesus says, An al-Haq, I am the truth, and the life. I am the life. Al-Hayat. Nowhere in the Quran and Sunnah does any prophet say he's the life. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So Jesus says, you want God to be your Father? You need to come to me and I'll take you home to your Father. But in Islam, Allah is not your Father. He's your master and you're his slave. In Jesus, God is your Father, and Jesus is the one who gives you life and takes you home, because he is the way. Now, do me a favor. Read the Quran and Sunnah. Please say, Sam, I found an ayah that's just as beautiful as this. So beautiful and refreshing and fills my heart with joy. Just like what Jesus said. Good luck finding it, because you're not going to find stuff like this in your Quran, because Allah is not your Father. He doesn't want you to be his daughter. But Jesus says, my Father wants to be your Father. He wants you to be his daughter. And I love you, and I will give you life, and I'll take you home, because I'm the one preparing a place for you. So contact me when you're ready to talk, all right?
Thank you for answering my questions. And
my pleasure. Jesus loves you. He's in love with you, and he's calling you. That's why you're here. May you hear his voice, and he save you from everything else.
okay.
Take care.
I'm gonna drop. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.